December arrives with that unmistakable end of chapter feeling. But this year, the cosmos is taking that very seriously. We're walking through a powerful sequence. Scorpio, Sagittarius, and Capricorn energy, one after the other. Symbolically, it works like this. In Scorpio, we face the crisis. In Sagittarius, we understand it. And in Capricorn, we use it to build something solid. Right at the beginning of the month, the sky is flooded with Sagittarius energy. The Sun, Mars, Venus, and Mercury all spend time in this sign. And we also have a new moon in Sagittarius later in the month. This is not a soft whisper from the universe. It's a loud call to expand, to believe again, to open both mind and heart. Sagittarius is about faith, meaning, and perspective. It's the part of the zodiac that asks, what did all these challenges come to teach you? When this sign is strongly activated, we stop looking only at the problem and start seeing the storyline behind it. We remember that life has an intelligence of its own, even when it feels chaotic. At the same time, December opens under the influence of a full moon in Gemini, lighting up communication, ideas, and mental restlessness. It's as if the mind receives a flashlight. Conversations get intense. Information flows quickly, and certain truths that were half buried come to surface. This full moon is a natural result of a cycle that began with a new moon in Scorpio weeks before, when many of us felt pushed to revisit deep emotional issues, secrets, fears, or taboos. Now, with the Gemini full moon, that Scorpionic process gains a voice. What was internal becomes verbal. What was only an intuition or discomfort may turn into a clear sentence. I can't live like this anymore. I finally understand why that happened. I see where I was fooling myself. It's not just about talking more. It's about thinking more clearly and naming emotional processes that used to feel confusing. And while Sagittarius fire invites us to believe, there's another layer quietly operating in the background. Saturn and Neptune in Pisces, both now moving direct. When these planets stop being retrograde and start moving forward again, a fog begins to lift. Situations that were blurry, contradictory, or strange in recent months slowly gain definition. It's like waking up from a long symbolic dream. We start to see where we escape from reality, where we idealize too much, or where we let fears and fantasies run the show. December, therefore, is not just about parties, lights, and holiday sweets. Cosmically, it's a month of integrating everything that 2025 stirred within us. The sky is saying something like, you went through a lot. Now let's give meaning to all of this and choose what you're going to do with it. Before we dive sign by sign or talk about Capricorn and planning for 2026, take a moment and breathe. Ask yourself, in which area of life have I grown the most through difficulty this year? If you like, write in the comments or jot it down somewhere. Externalizing this awareness already begins to work with Sagittarius energy, the energy of wisdom and expansion. If this kind of reflection helps you see your own path more clearly, it's really worth continuing to follow content like this, interacting, commenting on your experiences, and sharing with people who are also in need of a deeper perspective on the end of the year. The more we exchange insights, the more meaningful this period becomes. With so many planets crossing Sagittarius this month, it almost feels like standing on a balcony and finally seeing the whole landscape of 2025 from above. The sun lights up this sign. Mars brings initiative and courage. Venus colors our desires and values. And Mercury gives voice and understanding to everything we're experiencing. When Sagittarius is strongly activated, we're invited to look beyond the immediate problem, connect with something greater than our personal story, search for a philosophy, a meaning, a why behind what happened. It's the energy of expansion. More faith, more vision of the future, more willingness to explore. But expansion without direction turns into dispersion. That's why this month also brings a very important test. The tension between Sagittarius and Pisces. As the planets move through the last degrees of Sagittarius, they form challenging aspects of Saturn and Neptune in Pisces. Symbolically, it's as if our big dreams and ideals, Neptune, and our spiritual or emotional responsibilities, Saturn, we're questioning our enthusiasm. Is this plan realistic? Are you building on solid ground or on fantasy? Where are you escaping instead of taking responsibility? These squares don't come to punish. They come to clarify. when Saturn and Neptune go direct in Pisces and start dialoguing tensely with Sagittarius. Illusions crack, self-deception becomes harder to maintain, and certain discomforts that were vague gain a clear shape. We may notice disillusionment with a project, relationship, or path we had idealized, the need to reorganize finances or professional direction, situations where we said yes, but our intuition was screaming no. This can generate frustration in the short term, but on a deeper level, it's a blessing. Sagittarius wants us to grow, but real growth requires coherence between dream and reality. So December behaves a bit like a wise teacher saying, you can go far, but not if you're carrying dead weight. Adjust your route, let go of what no longer makes sense, and commit to what truly resonates with your truth. The new moon in Sagittarius, near the end of the sign, opens an especially powerful gateway for setting intentions linked to studies, journeys, and new perspectives, expansion of professional horizons, spiritual path and beliefs, projects that connect you with a bigger audience, other cultures, or distant places. It's a lunation that whispers, choose consciously where you want your energy to grow in 2026. The more honest you are with yourself now, the stronger the seed becomes. If during this period you feel both inspired and pressured to change routes, breathe and observe. Maybe life is simply aligning you a version of your future that better matches who you have become. And if you feel like sharing what the Sagittarius phase is already revealing in your life, an insight, a change of plans, a decision, write it down somewhere or tell someone you trust. Speaking about it helps anchor the process. After so much fire, faith, and expansion, the energy of the sky gradually shifts into something more grounded and focused. Around the last third of December, the sun leaves Sagittarius and enters Capricorn. Mars is already in Capricorn, and Venus and Mercury also move there soon after. Suddenly, that feeling of, I can do anything, starts to meet a new question. Beautiful. Now, what are you actually to build with all this? Capricorn is the architect of the zodiac. It cares about structure, consistency, responsibility, and long-term results. If Sagittarius opens horizons, Capricorn chooses a mountain and starts climbing it step by step. With this accumulation of planets in Capricorn, the end of December and the transition into January tend to emphasize planning for the new year in a more realistic, strategic way. A stronger sense of duty regarding work, finances, and commitments. Decisions about career path, goals, and priorities. The need to organize time, energy, and resources with more maturity. It's a perfect atmosphere for reviewing what worked and what clearly no longer fits in your life. Putting dates, numbers, and concrete steps into your dreams. Taking responsibility for your path without harsh self-criticism, but with honesty. Remember that sequence we mentioned earlier? In Scorpio, we went through crisis and deep emotional processes. In Sagittarius, we searched for meaning, learned, expanded awareness. In Capricorn, we use everything we learned to build something real. This is why the end of the year is so powerful. It's not just a calendar ritual. Astrologically, it really is a time to transform experience into structure. Looking a little ahead, the beginning of 2026 still brings a very strong focus on collective and future-oriented themes. There'll be an important concentration of energy in Aquarius, where Pluto is already opening a long cycle of transformation. When other planets gather there, we feel more strongly the call to update our way of living in society, to innovate, to think about the next stage of our evolution, both personal and collective. But everything begins now in how you close this year. December's message, in a nutshell, is accept what needed to end in 2025, Scorpio. Understand the meaning of what you lived, Sagittarius. Commit to what you really want to build from now on, Capricorn. If you feel that this reading helps you see your month and your year with more clarity, this is a good moment to record your intentions somewhere, in a notebook on your phone, or even by sharing with other people who are also on this astrological and spiritual journey. Commenting, talking about your sign, your rising sign, your plans, and your learnings as a way of signaling to the universe. I'm awake. I'm paying attention. I want to co-create consciously. May December be a month of understanding, of courage to adjust your route, and practical steps toward a 2026 that truly reflects who you are becoming.